And I told it to I have two co-teachers, teacher Lalita and teacher, her nickname is Nui, if
Nui,
I'm
yes,
pronouncing it
yes,
correctly.
yes. He
So,
reject.
teacher Lalita is busy at the moment. She told me beforehand that she would be involved in school activities today.
Okay.
And teacher Nui, yeah, she said she's not fluent in English, so that's the reason she's not joining up.
Okay. Please speak loud, clear,
I'm
and slow. Okay.
okay. I,
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to RB Teacher Talk. RB Teacher Talk, which is teacher seminar on teaching and learning in new normal learning community in Rajaniborn School. And now we live stream on Facebook group RB Teachers. And today we will talk with Mr. Daniil Lee. He is mathematics teacher for secondary level,
Mhm. Hello,
right?
everyone.
Please wait.
Uh,
Okay. 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 Good afternoon. How are you?
well, good afternoon, Dr. Pirun. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm waiting. It's excited for my first teacher's talk.
Okay, and I have known that this is the second years for you to teach in ESMT
Mhm.
program, right?
Right. First year I taught science, and
Yeah.
for this school, yeah, I'm teaching mathematics for grade 3.
And you prefer to teach mathematics?
Yes, there's when I applied to the position in this school, I applied for a mathematics teaching position.
Okay, it's better.
Yes, this is what I like. Well, this is what I enjoy teaching.
You enjoy teaching mathematics more than science, right?
Right, right.
Why?
Uh, I just I love mathematics. I love abstract ideas and concepts and how we can relate them to real life and how we can utilize them in our daily life. I just generally love um, I prefer mathematics more than science, especially applied science like physics, just because in mathematics we can discover something just uh, by thinking. We don't need to experiment with something physical, right? The only thing that you utilize is your mind. You use it to create concepts. I
Okay,
like abstract
but
ideas.
yeah, but you talk about mathematics that you love because it's abstract idea, right? It abstract, it's more abstract than science, right?
Mhm.
But for mathematics, the rules, the principles, the rules, the theory is abstract, right? It's like a symbol, it's abstract, but in in philosophy of mathematics, how we how we derive this knowledge, it came from the nature, right? The
Mhm.
nature of phenomena. Yeah,
Right.
all the all the principle, all the rules, all the theory in mathematics, in every subject area is came from the phenomenon, the natural
Mhm.
phenomenon. It's like a pattern that we observe and we follow. It's a pattern, and we can set the equation, right, to explain and to apply this symbolic to
Mhm.
the new situation. Yeah, for me this is mathematics. Yeah.
Mhm. Right.
Okay. And about today, what your lesson you would like to show
It is about
everyone?
quadratic functions, and I believe students were first introduced to this mathematical concept in my class. I did it before teacher Lalita.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that was the first time I introduced them to quadratic functions.
Yeah. Okay. Please show your slides and explain.
Uh, just a moment.
Yeah.
Screen. Ah, This is, I'm sharing my screen right now. I hope you can see it.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Um, these are my two co-teachers, as I mentioned already. Miss Lalita, she teaches the same grade as I teach, M3, grade 9. And Miss Suriwan, she teaches grade 4, Matayong form, grade 10. Matayong form, grade 10. So this lesson I did with Miss Suriwan. She joined me because I have 2 periods a week, and on Mondays I teach with Miss Lalita. On Thursdays and Fridays I teach with Miss Suriwan. So I didn't introduce myself. Pardon, apologize. My name is Daniil Lee. I'm Russian. I teach mathematics at Rajnibon School, and this is my lesson. So the lesson is about quadratic functions, and specifically about graphs of functions. Graphs of functions. So I assume that students were they were not introduced to graphs of quadratic functions before, even to a notion of functions. So this was the first time when students were introduced to the notion of functions. Level is M3, class 3, Matayong 3/3. 2 periods, 100 minutes, and it took place during weeks 8 and 9. So that was week 9 is the current week, and week 8 is the week before, a week ago. About the lesson. So I had 4 objectives. Firstly, of course, to explain to them what a function is, because they will be studying functions in the future, and they will explore many other different functions other than quadratic. So I thought it would be very important to firstly introduce them to the concept. So they needed to at first identify the standard form of quadratic functions, which is you can see it on the slide right now. It's objective A, the first one. Y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. The second objective is to describe graphs, describe the shapes in terms of vertices, axis of symmetry, x-intercept, and y-intercept. These are the key features of quadratic functions. And the third objective is to compare different parabolas based on the different values of the coefficients A, B, and C. Because these 3 coefficients, they define the shape, the curve of quadratic functions. And the main objective is of course, to help students to develop function analysis. Content, functions, graphs, standard form of quadratic functions, and its key features. So I had an idea to start my lesson with connecting students to my lesson by showing them a selection of images. I found 6 different pictures of different objects related to parabolic shapes, which are the graphs of quadratic functions. Those pictures were a basketball player throwing a ball and the trajectory of the ball. The other picture was a antenna, satellite dish, right, which was in form of a paraboloid, and a picture of a headlight, right, because parabolic shape is used to concentrate light and to project it in one specific direction. So I show these pictures to students, ask them a question, what do you think they all have in common? Some of the students, I would say minority, could relate shapes to these pictures right away. Some of them told me, oh, it's about that curve, oh, it's about that curved line. And from that point, I just told them that today we will be looking at these curves and these shapes. This is the object of our study today. Then I wanted them to sort of connect to these abstract graphs by using this application GeoGebra. It's an online platform, basically a website, and I had them using their devices, mobile phones, tablets, access this website geogebra.com. There's a Cartesian coordinate system, and that was about the areas of squares. An area of a square is defined by the formula area equals to side of a square squared, right? And on that website, it showed the relation between the value, the length of a side of a square to its area. So this graph is quadratic and the shape is parabolic. I told them that this relation is called function. When you have a set of objects, well, in mathematics, in algebra, it's a set of numbers, right, related to another set of numbers. And this relation is defined as each number from the first set is assigned to at least one number in the other set. This type of relation is called a function. They played with it. They got to adjust the length of a square. I don't have any pictures now, but that was a square, and they could adjust its length. And there were two axes, x-axis, y-axis, and on x-axis, that was the length of the squares. On y-axis, the values were the area of squares. So my next step was to introduce them, reintroduce them, because they already knew what a quadratic equation was. So I just explained to them that if you relate a quadratic equation to all of the possible x's that you can input in the equation and get an outcome, which is y, right? Y numbers. This is a quadratic function. For the next step, yeah, I had an activity to do. I divided them into groups. Told them to go onto our website, desmos.com, and it's a graphical calculator, graphing calculator. I told them to input the standard form of a quadratic function, x squared, ax squared plus bx plus c, into that website, which can plot the graph. It shows the graph of a function, and I told them to adjust a, b, and c, and to play with it separately. At first, I told them to adjust a. There was a slider, and they could move it to the left and to the right, increasing or decreasing the value of a. And they saw how the shape of a curve changes. Then I asked them questions. How would you describe this change? Well, some of them told me, oh, the parabola is closing when I increase the value of a, and parabola opens up when I decrease a. Then we did the same thing with b, and then with c. And then I had them describing the changes on the graph. The last activity to do was a game, match-up equation graph game. I prepared sort of worksheets for them with 6 different graphs of different quadratic functions, and I showed them 6 equations related to the 6 functions. I told them to match up function symbolic sentence with each of the graphs. And this is what we did in the second period. So it took them quite a lot of time, about 20 minutes to match up all of the graphs in the worksheet. And at first, it was quite difficult. I had to help them. I guided some groups, and also I gave them as an assignment, as homework, to do some exercises from their mathematics books, textbooks. At the end of the lesson, I just summarized the main concept of the lesson: functions, their graphs, the standard form of the quadratic function, how and what changes it makes when you adjust A, B, and C, when you change the values of them. And that was the end of the lesson. Then I evaluated their worksheet. That was my summative assessment. And as a formative assessment, I observed their group work during our match-up game and investigation. The investigation. Results. Right. My first objective was to have them understanding the form of a quadratic function, because sometimes they get confused. They confuse quadratic functions with linear functions. Sometimes they don't understand what that A, B, and C are just coefficients, and X is a variable, Y is a dependent variable. So most of them already they understand what a quadratic function is, what a quadratic expression is. And the second objective was to describe those graphs using appropriate terms like vertex, axis of symmetry, x-intercept, y-intercept. So they're not accustomed to terminology, so they use other words like turning point, like a place or point where the graph crosses x-axis. They don't use terminology, and as a desirable result, some of them could explain well the key features of functions, quadratic functions. My third objective was to have them compare different parabolas by changing A, B, and C in functions. And this is something that they could understand well, and only if they use simple vocabulary. Right. And the last objective was to develop function analysis skills by playing match-up game, and 80% of them could do the game. Considering that I guided them a lot, I helped them out. They did well, as I said already. They could match up at least 4 graphs with 4 functions given to them out of 6. Undesirable results. Firstly, several students still they have difficulties in identifying quadratic expressions, and with sorting. If you give them not a standard form of a quadratic expression, they may have difficulties with putting it into the standard form. Second undesirable result was that a lot of students still have difficulties with expressing themselves verbally using mathematical terminology. The third undesirable result was that they needed support. They needed my guidance. They asked me a lot of questions. how to complete this worksheet, how to play this game, and I did explain to them several times. But that was not the majority. That was the minority of the class. And I, of course, considering that there are students that are quite advanced in mathematics, and there are students that are still struggling, they're falling behind. So I always, ideally, I would like to separate them in groups where they have students with different levels of understanding of the concept. So some of advanced students can help those who are falling behind. And what I noticed that if one student understands something well, that student would do most of the work, and the other student they would just sit idle, they would just loaf and wait until that advanced student would complete all of the assignment. So that was something that I don't want to have in my class. Lessons learned. At first, I didn't consider that they are not familiar with some of the terminology. And I started to teach Mathayom 3 only this year. I didn't have an idea what they already know. So I had to explain a lot of vocabulary, a lot of words that they should already know. And now I understand that I should spend some time for discussing vocabulary, for introducing vocabulary, the specific words that they might struggle with. The second lesson learned, students, I had them using their phones, right? There was a website, they had to use their mobile devices, and a lot of them misused it. They played, they were scrolling TikTok and checking out their social medias. So I had to reintroduce classroom rules to them, because I told them your phones are only for studying in my classroom. You don't get to use them for any other purposes. It's only for the sake of studying. And of course, I planned a lot of activities. At first, I planned to do another game as well, but didn't have time. Right, I couldn't fit in more than one activity in one period. Yeah, so I need to consider the pace of studying. These are the pictures. My co-teacher took them on Monday this week. That's the website on the picture that is to the right. And you can see there's a quadratic expression, 3 sliders. They could adjust A, B, and C by moving the sliders to the left and to the right. They are using, most of them, their tablets and phones. Also, I think that would be a great idea to take them to computer class, so they didn't have to use their phones, which I didn't do. So lessons that I learned from my classes is I need to allocate some time for vocabulary learning. Also, I need to always consider the pace of study and plan to do only those activities that could be done within one period. And that's the end of my presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you. Something, please.
Okay,
like
please stop sharing. We'll have conversation. Okay, thank you for your very impressive presentation. It's very, I appreciate on your presentations is so deep and balancing between abstract and concrete exercise for students. Yeah, I have 2 or 3 several questions or issue that I would like to talk with you. About learning process.
Mhm.
You saw that, and Angel, Mr. Angel, teacher Angel used four learning steps that
Mhm.
I suggest, from introduction and demonstrate and exercise and conclusion. Yeah. And for the other one, Joanne used 5E,
Mhm.
and your model is 6 step, right? You
Mhm.
have 6 step. Where you get this model, or you decide this model for your lesson plan by
When I was
yourself?
planning this lesson, I didn't consider any models. I just had my own view of this lesson, and I watched some of other teachers talks, teachers Juni's and Joanne's, Tata's. I saw they're using 5E, as you mentioned, 5E model and that introduction, demonstration, practice, conclusion model. So I couldn't fit in my lesson to any particular model. I thought that it would be great to have them exploring firstly this idea of function themselves, and then I would introduce it to them
Yeah.
sort of again.
You begin with the first E. What is the first E again? Engage.
Engage. I wanted
Engage, right. Engage, and then explore,
right.
right? And
Mhm.
explain.
Mhm.
Explain, and you explore again, right?
Right.
Yeah, explore again, and then you have it's like an exercise or something, or game or something. Yeah, and
Game.
finally you're making conclusion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't you explain what the student learning by using this learning process? Why you use this learning process for this content? Yeah.
Because as I said, they were that was the first time they were introduced to this concept of functions. And I know that a lot of students, they're not familiar with terminology. So it would be difficult to explain this to them myself. I thought it would be more productive to have them exploring it first, to have sort of its function is not something tangible, right? But they could understand that this is a specific relation between two sets of numbers.
Yeah. What
That's
what 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 is the key for success in learning function, for that for qualitative functions? The key success for the student to achieve, to understand this lesson, qualitative
uh,
function.
they know what a number line is. A number line, straight line with numbers. So I told them that what you see on your screen, coordinate system X, Y, these are just two number lines that
Yeah.
intercept each other, that cross each other. So that's how I
You
firstly try to introduce
you
the
you
coordinate
te
system.
yeah. You teach the student from graph to the equation, or the equations to graph,
From the curve curved shape
curve
first,
to
I showed them
equation.
the pictures first. I wanted them
Yeah,
to
yeah,
relate to the curve. I
yeah,
wanted to know, I wanted to let them know where it comes from.
yeah.
And then,
So it's concrete to abstract,
mhm,
right? It's concrete because the student can observe the graph,
mhm,
and yeah, can observe the graph, and they should understand the function that can perform as a graph finally.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a visual representation
yeah, yeah.
of the function.
Okay. I have saw your desirable result on majority, right? Majority. And what about the minority student? What do you help them to more understanding, or Thai teacher to work with you? How you help them,
Uh,
minority?
several times my Thai teacher explained the concept to them in Thai.
Thai teacher will help you.
She does. Or
Yeah.
both of them they do. And my coach is Suri, forgot the name, teacher Nui.
Yeah.
Right. She usually explains to those students that don't understand something. She usually explains the materials in Thai.
Yeah.
And then I can explain it again in English. And then if it doesn't help, I would just guide them. Sometimes I just help them to do some calculations or to plot a graph. Just by doing it myself and let them just to observe, see how it should be done.
If I need you teach all the student to understand all the concept 100%, no majority, no minority, all the student 100%, they have to understand the concept. They have to do exercise to achieve to find the answer by themselves. How you teach them? How you want the school to support you, your team, your student?
I at least I think it would take at least twice as much time as it takes for me now, and I would have to adjust the pace because I'm still trying to find that balance, that golden ratio between the pace of the students that are more advanced and pace of the students that are falling behind. So I want to find that balance of my lesson, with which advanced students don't get bored and students that are struggling, they still can catch up with what I'm introducing to them. So I think I would just slow down my pace.
Yeah. How do you evaluate your student learning? Evaluate
Evaluate.
both
Use
formative and summative. You know the difference between formative and summative. You know the difference.
Sub-native.
Formative assessment and summative.
Oh, summative. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
You know the
formative.
difference?
I think I know.
Yeah.
Summative assessment is done after you completed your unit, your lesson, your class.
Yeah.
And
Formative
formative
is for you, formative is for what? Why we have to use formative assessment?
To adjust your pace, to adjust something during your class, I think.
For me, I think formative is assess for learning, for the student to improve, to correct. They should have get the information or something from you to correct themselves, to improve, to develop themselves, I think. But for summative, we have to check for making decisions to cut who good, who very good, who not pass or something. Yeah. So you please check your lesson plan. Yeah. Again, formative is something that we assess. Formative assess between or why we're teaching by asking some question or something. We have conversation and we collect the data from the student answers. The student raise the hand, the number of student raise the hand, and the number of student understand or misconcept or something. Yeah, and we bring back this information from formative to adjust the teaching in for the next class or something, or to help the some student there don't understand or something. And for summative, it's the end. It's the aim is it's the limitation of time. Time ends is time. We have to cut to cut by testing, by test. Yeah, not exercise. Exercise is for a student to try out more and more from
Mhm.
ability to skill. Yeah. So you please check how to assess the student,
Mhm.
formative and summative again. Yeah. And for mathematics, I think what would you think about cooperative learning in mathematics?
Cooperating, like
Yeah,
getting.
cooperative. This I heard that you observe the student make learning in group, right?
Yes. Well,
Right.
I think I missed it. I didn't mention that the game they played was a group work,
Yeah,
and I divided them into groups of two, so
yeah,
would pair it up with their classmates.
yeah. How
Uh,
many games you use?
One just that
One.
match up game.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
I
and
tried to do
how many series or questions do you have in game?
a six. There was six graphs, different graphs of different
Six.
functions, and then I
Okay.
showed them the the functions on big screen. And I told them, match up these graphs with the graphs, match up these functions with the graphs you see on your worksheets.
Okay. Okay. You know the principles of game for education, for teaching, game teaching, you know?
Mhm.
Okay.
Engage them.
You can explain why we use game for learning.
Well, I think it's what students like to do at first.
Yeah, yeah. They like to play game, right? Why they
Mhm.
like to play game? Why?
Because they can get involved with their classmates, get involved, they can enjoy some, I don't know, a
Why
set.
they enjoy?
This is what children like right there.
Okay, it has two principles.
Uh,
Two principles for game learning. The first is we organize the exercise or the content from easy to
mhm,
difficult, easy to difficult or simple to complex, so they can learn step by step. And when
mhm,
they pass through the first step, the first stage, you give them the second principle. When the success in the first stage, you give them the positive reinforcement, such as reward, marks, scores, or something. Yeah,
mhm,
and it's like a positive attitude for them to study more in the second stage, and the content will difficult, more difficult or more complex than the first stage. You have to organize from easy to difficult. And every stage, you have to give them rewards, such
mhm,
as score. It's very easy to give them a score, right? Or the star or something that you sticker that you put it in the table on the walls or something. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. It will help them to fun to make them enjoy teaching learning with you. Yeah,
I reward them by giving them stickers. They usually stick them
sticker.
on the textbooks.
Okay,
Stickers,
sticker. Yeah.
stickers. Yeah, I have one of those. Just
Where you get sticker.
they
Okay.
they they just love them.
What is the picture?
It's a paw, cat's paw.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your sharing your experience on teachings today. Yeah, it's very, very valuable for everyone to know more about mathematics teaching. Yeah. Thank you for today. Thank you. สวัสดีครับ
ขอบคุณครับ